Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone out there in webinar land, depending on when you are accessing this pre-recorded webinar session. Ben here from Outdoors Inc., coming at you across a screen rather than in real person. We do hope to get trips up and happening again start of July, pending government advice. Anyhow, in the meantime, here is another of our Outdoors Inc. webinars. This one's part of the Connecting with Nature series that I'm developing and having a few different webinars based around. Time for some funky music, and please read the following couple of slides. There's a disclaimer there, and also any risks that are associated with this webinar session today. I'll be back in a few moments. Okay, there we go. Hopefully everyone had a chance to check out those disclaimers and the risks. It is a computer-based session mainly. There will be a component that encourages people to get outside for a short while. Please just make sure you are comfy. Make sure you are somewhere that you're not going to spill any drinks, food, those sort of things on you. The main other disclaimer that I would like to add is that I am not an IT or webinar guru. I am doing my best, but if the quality is not up there as much as some other ones are, I do apologise for that. I am more an outdoors person than the indoors one, but we're all learning, and it is great that we are still able to do things like this and connect with all of you participants out there at the moment. So I hope people are doing well. It's been really nice to have phone conversations with people over the last sort of 6 weeks now, and find out different things that people are up to during this time. The main reason why I've sort of created this little series of what I'm calling the Connecting to Nature series of webinars is because it's something that I miss at the moment. Being able to be outside, I'm sure it's something that a lot of you miss. That's the main reason, I assume, why lots of people come on trips with Outdoors Inc. And it's just a nice opportunity to find out different ways to connect with nature and why it is such an important relationship that we do have as humans with our outdoor world. So I hope you enjoyed this little series. There's this session today, which is based on land, connecting with trees and flora and fauna and things like that. I've got another little session which is based on water, oceans, lakes, rain, whatever it might be. Having a chat with someone that I know that's been down to Antarctica and Macquarie Island, on a couple of little expeditions and trips down that way, and hopefully getting some participant stories as well shared over the next little while, amongst some other things happening, and then obviously hopefully in a little while we are able to get back out there and connect to nature in person. So anyhow, I will stop the video feed now and more just have a bit of a commentary over the screen. All right. So connecting to nature is the series that we're doing. It is, or that I'm doing. I just really wanted to explore the human and nature interaction, and remember, particularly in this sort of time now when we are stuck inside, or things are starting to ease a little bit, but we have been stuck inside for quite a while. But starting to remember and acknowledge why it's important that we connect with our outside world, and also just to highlight, I guess, the benefits that we get from it as humans. There's a lot of health benefits that have been recognised now of being outdoors. There's quite a few interesting stories that I want to share with you. Some of them you may have seen or heard of before. Some of them might be new to you. That's something that I really enjoy in the outdoor world, and also the online world, is just being able to engage with different people's stories and how they explore the world and how they benefit from it, or what it does for them. So hopefully this is some stuff that people haven't seen before, and also just a few practical ideas on how we can keep up our interactions during this sort of COVID-19 period, and make sure that we are taking time to help our health by getting outside and interacting with the world outdoors. So that's the Connecting with Nature series. So today's focus, as I mentioned, connecting with the land. Really nice shot here of some eucalypt trees with really nice light through it. And that's what today's session is about. It's about really trying to connect with plants and trees and grass, parkland, whatever you might have around you now, forests, more the actual land component of nature. And then there'll be another one that focuses a bit more on the water as well. So with that, I would like to show I'd like to begin with a short segment of a film that's been produced by the Patagonia company. You may know of the company from a lot of the clothing and outdoor equipment that they do. They've also released a lot of short films that are about different people's interactions with land, with the ocean, with the world. And yeah, this is a nice little film that was released recently. I just want to watch the beginning of it. Feel free to jump online and follow it. You can find it on YouTube and watch the whole thing if you would like. It does delve into some other sort of affairs that we're not going to explore during this particular series or session. But the first 7 minutes or so of the film is the real beginning of it. Provides us an introduction to the setting, and I just think it's a really nice example of how an individual connects with her natural world, and she sort of sums up how it makes her feel as well. So as I mentioned, if you want to watch the whole thing at another point, feel free to. We will also be watching another Patagonia film in a later session as well. So anyhow, sit back and enjoy the next 7 or so minutes.
Tasmania is an island off the bottom of Australia, quite a long way from anywhere.
Sometimes they don't even put us on the map.
Tarkine's more than 1 million acres of wild country, including the biggest temperate rainforests in Australia. River systems largely unsullied by humanity. A wild coastline across which blows the cleanest air on the planet. There is no other place like it in the world.
It's like being in fairyland. It's just magnificent, these great big gnarly old trees with growths on the side and fungus growing off them. You just go, wow, this is just so amazing, you know.
It's over 60 million years old. You know, the trees that you see standing around you, we can see as fossils at Antarctica.
It's a stronghold for a whole suite of rare and endangered wildlife. And it's got this Aboriginal heritage of the Tarkina people.
Hide there with spears?
Yeah, we'll hide here with spears and clubs and wait for the seals to come up and lay on the rocks.
This area is so under threat. Mining leases going up, the destruction of thousands of years of Aboriginal heritage, and forests like these being felled. If all things proceed as planned, this forest that we're sitting in now won't be here by the end of summer.
To see our forest industry reborn. That's our plan. Clearly, environmental protesters have a different view.
Just days out from the state election, a crowd of more than 1,000 people has rallied on Hobart's Parliament lawns calling for protection of the Tarkine.
When you have a state government dedicated to the resource extraction side of things, and then you have the grassroots uprising of people who have got a hell of a lot of resilience, intelligence, creativity, there's inevitably going to be a clash of epic proportions. Yeah, good, thanks, guys. Good to see you again. Come on in. Take a seat. Okay, so Phil, what we might do is we might just get your script sorted. I'm Nicole Anderson. I'm a rural doctor in the town of Smithton in the northwest of Tasmania. We have a medical service which services 8,000 people 24/7. Your day is basically just drilled out in 10-minute consultation after 10-minute consultation, although my consultations average 12.5 minutes. So, yes, I run behind like a typical doctor runs behind. When I came to Tasmania in 2004 and started work up here in Smithton in 2005, this northwest area was a big mystery. And what that gave me was a lot of inspiration to get out here, to get myself into this landscape. Running is a great way to learn about a place for me because I don't have much time and I love to cover big distances. I'm certainly not an advanced athlete. I'm slow as anything. I wouldn't say lazy up hills, but I pace myself. My biomechanics are pretty shot. So my strengths definitely lie in my ability to handle discomfort and exhaustion, to stay the distance and just to keep going no matter what. I love to run by myself, off track, off road, literally no trail to follow. I'm trying to think of a time where I didn't run by myself. No, can't think of any. No, always by myself. What I want to get out of being a runner is more of a connection to my environment. What is the Tarkine giving me? What is Tarkina giving me? It's reconnecting me as a human to a landscape. As human beings, when we're born, we're immediately wrapped in plastic, we're numbered, we're branded. There's something in me that wants to break out of that unnatural system. It's teaching me to be a true human, because a true human is not what 200 years of industrial civilization has produced. The true human goes back 200,000 years more, 2 million years. Human beings are designed in a way we can run. We can run long distances and we can run in the heat of the day. We've got a chest structure with our clavicles. It gives us that crucial ability to breathe heavily, long periods of time for endurance. When people go through a rainforest, they're breathing in fresh air, they're breathing in fungi spores, fern spores, particles. Your body and your mind is processing that information, and you feel better because you're in a natural environment, which we have evolved in for a couple of million years. We've only been in the Industrial Revolution for a couple of centuries. And so what we have is a very artificial system which we see as normal in our modern society, when in reality we are still part of forests. Genetically, physically, biochemically, emotionally and spiritually, we are connected to natural landscapes. And being mostly alone out in the Tarkine has left me a lot of time to discover, to learn and re-establish that relationship. And so the Tarkine has given me back my sense of identity, my sense of self, who I am and what I could be.
So that is a reasonably powerful piece of film. I think that Nicole is, when she's talking about what the Tarkine means for her, you can hear her talking about it with passion, and there's some really nice imagery and photography through the forest as well. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing that short segment of the film. And as I said earlier, if you would like to watch it in full, feel free to follow through to YouTube and watch it on there. What I'd like to do is just sort of build on what that part of the film, what Nicole was talking about, and just tie it in with the benefits, the science that's going on, the research that's going on. A lot of you are probably aware of it, but just some people may not be. It's just nice to get a little reminder every now and then as well of why it is that it is beneficial for us as humans to connect with the outside world. So just on screen here, this is amazing. Hey, IT. On the screen here, you can see that there's I've got what's called the 5 dimensions of health here, depending on the area, the research, who's sort of creating these things. It ranges from 5 to 7, upwards in terms of dimensions of health. I quite like the 5 dimensions of health model myself, and I just wanted to use that or utilize that as a way to look at the benefits that nature brings to the whole person and our health, rather than just specific parts of it. So you can see there that the 5 dimensions are broken down into emotional, physical, spiritual, intellectual, and social, and they've all got further definition to them as well within that diagram. And as with everything in these webinars that I'm doing, and I'm sure that the others are doing, feel free to further research these things as well, and have a look at the different alternative definitions that are out there, and also just to find out a bit more about it if you are curious about it. But just a quick summary of things. There's the benefits of connecting to nature. You can see there's quite a varying amount of that, or quite a varying benefits of connecting with nature. Whether it's just increased fitness levels, which you could see Nicole goes running long distances in that film through the Tarkine forest, so her fitness levels would be really increased. Cardiovascular health. There's also a lot of work that's gone into our minds, our intellectual, our emotional sort of stuff, the increased attention span, creativity, problem solving, mindfulness while we're out there, and also the opportunities to connect with others, which we do quite a lot on our outdoor trips, Outdoors Inc. trips when we're going out in groups, but also connecting or feeling connected to the wider world, which is something else that Nicole, she said that she goes out quite a lot on her own, but there's also a lot of research being done into people feeling a lot more connected with the wider world if they do outdoor activities themselves as well. So whether you do it on your own or as a group, still increasing the connections. And then decreasing things like the risks of obesity. It lowers stress or decreases stress and anxiety, lowers the levels of the hormone cortisol, which is something that can increase stress, which is related to stress. So there's a lot of benefits there with connecting to nature. Forest bathing. This is a term some of you may be familiar with. It's kind of come out of Japan. Shinrin-yoku is the Japanese term for it, which directly translates to forest bathing, which has now caught on a bit more worldwide. It's got potential meanings for in different ways for different people, and some of us on some of our outdoor trips would have been involved in different activities, which you could term forest bathing as well. I've just got a little short clip here that introduces forest bathing a bit more and what it is, and then afterwards we will do a little activity with it. So bear with me again. I'll get the clip up and going and get rid of my head from here.
My name is Dr. Qing Li. I'm a physician at Nippon Medical School Hospital, and I'm the president of the Japanese Society of Forest Medicine. And I have studied the forest medicine at Shinrin-yoku for 13 years. Shinrin-yoku directly translates to the forest bathing. It is something spending time in forest to promote the good health. In fact, the Shinrin-yoku is originated in Japan in 1980s and as a national health program to help the stressed workers and to reduce their stress. Now, there are about 62 forest therapy bases across Japan, and those bases provide the service with the blood pressure check and some aromatherapy course, also some work with the forest therapy guide, was together get some beneficial effect from the forest bathing. Have long and fascinating roots into nature, especially into forest. 2/3 of the Japan are covered in forests. There are two major religions in Japan, Shinto and Buddhism. Both religions see forest as the realm of the divine. We even have the word karoshi, which means death from overwork. So it made sense for people to turn to forest to help. There are many beneficial effects on human health. For example, Shinrin-yoku can reduce blood pressure. Shinrin-yoku can reduce the stress hormone and stress situation. Shinrin-yoku also can reduce the blood sugar levels. The Shinrin-yoku can lift the depression. The Shinrin-yoku can improve the quality of sleep. The Shinrin-yoku also can boost your immune system, including the increase of natural killer cells and the activity of natural killer cells. Shinrin-yoku also can increase the anti-cancer proteins. The Shinrin-yoku can also improve the concentration and increase your memory. Yeah. You can visit a city park to enjoy Shinrin-yoku. In fact, in my research, 2 hours Shinrin-yoku in the city parks also can get many beneficial effects, like Shinrin-yoku can improve your positive feelings and reduce your negative feelings. In my personal experience, I always visit a small park near my office almost every day during the lunchtime. So if you have a small park near your home or near your office, you also can enjoy the city park during your lunchtime. You also can put some plants or flower in your home or in your office to enjoy the indoor forest therapy. You also can produce some aroma by using the essential oil to produce some smell and to enjoy the sense of the smell of the indoor forest bathing. In this book, I show you how to practice Shinrin-yoku. I also show you lots of data on the benefits of Shinrin-yoku. So if you want to find health and happiness, please read my book, Shinrin-yoku.
Okay, so you heard the man. We have to find happiness and health and do some Shinrin-yoku. So the things that I really took away from his explanation and introduction into the forest bathing is that if you don't have access to the forest, as we or many of us don't at the moment, there is still a lot of benefit that comes from getting out into local parks if you've got them. And some people are lucky enough to live near either the creeks around Melbourne or some of the parklands around. I think one of the really nice things about being in Melbourne is that there are also a lot of trees around different neighbourhoods and nature strips as well. So we hopefully all have opportunities to find some way to connect with forest bathing and Shinrin-yoku, which is what the next part of the webinar is going to be. So this is now going to be an opportunity to, just bear with me a moment, pause and try. Okay, we are sitting inside. I understand the oxymoron, I think it is, that I'm sitting here talking about the benefits of being outside, the benefits of nature across a computer screen to you all, which is a really nice way to do it. But it would also be nice to get outside and be able to practice a little bit. Just on that, there is in the sort of research that I've done and the reading that I've done in this area, because it's something that I quite enjoy, there is quite a famous a lot of research that was done, a test that was done a little while back about the effect of actually just looking at photos or looking at pictures of nature. And there is actually quite a large benefit of doing that as well. They did a test within some patients in a hospital, and there was a group that had access to looking at pictures and a group that didn't. And the group that had access to looking at pictures had things such as reduced pain throughout their recovery. They were generally in better spirits. Sometimes it often made their recoveries quicker as well. So feel free to have a bit of a look around at that sort of stuff as well, but don't feel bad about us watching things online at the moment, because there is still benefit in that. Having said that, now I just want to take the opportunity to pause the webinar, the actual viewing of things at the moment, and get outside. I don't know obviously what your situation is right now. This webinar is being pre-recorded. It's sort of early afternoon time where I am. So I've got the opportunity. I'm going to step outside and get amongst some trees. I am at the Outdoors Inc. offices, so lots of you will be familiar with the surrounds around here. If it's daytime, hopefully you're able to get outside now and either go down to your park or whatever it might be. If it is evening or nighttime, then maybe make use of the sky, the stars, the moon, different things like that. If you prefer to look out your window, or perhaps open the front door and sit out on the step and just sort of take note of what's going around. So a few different ideas, sitting, you can see on the screen, sitting down and cloud watching or looking at the sky, going out and hugging a tree, or getting in touch up close and personal with some plants. An autumn leaf rainbow, it's a really nice time now, depending on, again, when you're watching this. Now is a really good opportunity. There's a lot of change of colour in the leaves of the trees. There's some beautiful yellows and oranges and reds and browns, to go along with the greens. So getting out and making a little autumn leaf rainbow would be great. If you do that, or anything that you can take a photo of and pop it up on our social media stream, or even in the comments. I think there's comments below this webinar as well, but definitely to our social media sites like Facebook would be really nice to see, and just getting outside and seeing birds and things like that as well. So that's enough talking from me. We're going to pause here. We will come back in 15 minutes and then we will restart the webinar as well. Okay. I am going to leave it filming on the sign. I'll see you again in 15 minutes. Hello, everybody. We'll just give another 30 seconds or so for everyone to get back, hopefully from their outdoor little explorations. I hope everyone took the opportunity to get outside, or at least if you couldn't get outside, connect with the outside in some way. Another 10 seconds or so and we'll start back up. Okay, well, yeah, as I just sort of mentioned when I sat back down, I hope people managed to take the opportunity to get outside. I know just through different phone conversations that I've been having with people over the last few weeks, and also just in general conversations that I've been having with my friends and family, and even feeling myself, it can be difficult to be motivated to get outside at the moment. Yeah, I know that's sort of comments that I've been encountering quite a lot. So I was hoping by embedding or making it part of these webinars, it maybe just gives people a little bit of motivation to get outside for a few minutes, knowing that there is other people that are doing it, maybe at the same time, maybe at slightly different times, but all sort of doing a similar thing when they're interacting with this webinar as well. So for me, I just managed to get out outside at outdoors, and we've got a creek along the back that runs underneath the freeway, which is a nice little space. We've also got quite a lot of trees around here, and quite a variety of trees. So I just spent my 15 minutes kind of wandering around the base of trees and trying to find the biggest leaf that I could find and the smallest leaf that I could find as well. And I took a photo of a bit of a scale that I had. So this is the biggest leaf. I don't know, you can compare it to my head. That's kind of head size. And then this was the smallest leaf that I could find. It's complete. I didn't tear that, which if you can, I mean, maybe almost compare that to a fingernail. It's a tiny part of a little fingernail. So there's a fair range in size there. Glad we've got the white wall behind us. You can kind of make that out, I think. So anyway, fun little activities, it can be anything that you can kind of make up and, just take the time to get out. So hopefully people, enjoyed that. I'll disappear again and we'll just join back in with the slideshow. So, yeah, once we've taken our time, as it says on the bottom here, it's time to sort of finish up the webinar. So one thing that I'd like that I'm incorporating into the webinars that I am putting together is, something that we can do practically as well. And I know we've just been out and done a practical activity as part of this one. But, I'd really like to give people other ideas for things to do. And again, this stems from, a lot of the conversations that I've been having with people and them feeling as though there's been lower motivation or low on ideas maybe on how to get out while we are in this period of sort of COVID restrictions and restricted movement. So two ideas that I've had and that I've done a little bit to keep the human and nature connection going. Remember, it's land-based sort of stuff. Number one is an autumn leaf rainbow. So now's a great time. I might just pop the video back on. Now's a great time to get outside. Hopefully you are watching this. Sorry, I'm moving myself around quite a lot. Just trying to get it where you can still see what's going on. Now is a great time outside. Like autumn's. We're well and truly into autumn. We certainly feel like we're getting in towards winter, and there's some amazing colours coming out in the leaves and the trees at the moment. So an autumn leaf rainbow is a great opportunity to get outside and just get your hands, get touching a bit of nature and what's going on around, and try to create a rainbow of the different colours that you can find around. Please don't pull leaves off trees for the green ones. It doesn't have to have any green left, but there's some beautiful yellows and oranges and reds and browns and things like that as well. And as I've mentioned here, a great way to explore with sight and with touch as well. And again, something that I'd love to see, and we at Outdoors would love to see people putting up online as well. If you take a photo of it, that'd be really good. And the second idea is, it might sound a little bit silly, and I've put a link in there that you can follow to find out a bit more about magpies. But talking to a magpie is something that I would encourage you to do if you have got any around. It turns out that they can be really great neighbours, and they do tend to stay in the one area and over generations as well. So if you do feel like your local magpie is maybe giving you the evil eye every now and then, or taking a swoop, now's a really great time to try and build a bit of a relationship up with it, and have a chat as you're going past. I'm not encouraging you to feed your magpies. They can forage for themselves, but certainly having a conversation with them. Read the article. It's amazing if you didn't know that much about magpies and their habits and things. So there's a couple of ideas. There's a bunch of other things out there that you can do, and by all means, if you're not attracted to these ideas, please feel free to pursue your own ones. And again, if you've got some good ideas you think would be nice to share with other people, and as keeping within what we are allowed to do at the moment, then pop some ideas up on either below this webinar video in the comments, or even online as well. That'd be great. And I'll try to get to the next slide. So again, just some further, I'm going to move myself. Some further opportunities. Another part of what I'd really like to have with these webinars is, if you do find it interesting, the content that we've talked about or that we've seen in the different films and things like that, is to give you some further opportunities to pursue that. And there's some further reading opportunity, if you like, is follow this link to an article that goes into a bit more depth about the positive effects of nature on the mind, on the body, on the soul. But I guess an interesting read if that's something that sort of catches your eye. I have put a further watching opportunity here as well. And if you don't know much about slow TV, which I think is a bit of a movement that's started up in sort of Scandinavia and Europe, then this is an opportunity to start it. It's slow TV is long periods of time watching things that don't tend to change that much. And this is an example of someone who goes out for a walk in the forest for an hour or so. And again, just a good opportunity to do something different, almost meditative type watching, that one. And then the forest bathing and Shinrin-yoku information, which we talked about a bit earlier. It's stuff that, for actual further doing these things. The Royal Botanic Gardens, Victoria, at their Melbourne site, and also down at the Cranbourne Gardens, they're on hold at the moment, but pre kind of the COVID time, and I'm sure they'll get them up and running again, are actually doing Shinrin-yoku and forest bathing sessions as well, or tours. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, a bit more of a guided forest bathing, then that'd be something that's great to sort of check out. They go for either 2 or 3 hours. There's a bit of information about it if you follow that link as well. Potentially we will try and incorporate some of the elements of forest bathing and stuff into some of our trips as well, and it's a really nice way to sort of slow down and participate in it a little bit. Just bear with me a moment. So finally, I would just like to say thank you very much for your participation, for coming along and joining in this webinar today. I hope that you enjoy the sort of connecting with nature little series that I'm putting together, and the different sessions that are a part of it. I am open to ideas, please. Ideally, we'll get our trips up and running again soon, or in the near future. But if you do have ideas about different topics that you'd like explored, please feel free to send us an email and let us know at indoors at outdoors, or feel free to give the office a call as well. One of the areas of interest in the webinars when we've been talking to people over the phone is to have some meditation type stuff as well. So I'm going to finish up this session and a few of the sessions with an opportunity for people to do their own sort of meditation. Today it's a listening opportunity. It's from the Great Animal Orchestra Symphony, and you can see the links just on the screen here as well. So it's a collaboration project between an English composer called Richard Blackford and an American bioacoustic recordist, Bernie Krause. And Krause has recorded, I think it's more than 4,500 hours and over 15,000 animal species in their natural environment. And then they've come together and put the animal sounds to some music as well. So, listening to these sorts of things is just another way to engage and connect with the natural world and provide a bit of a meditative atmosphere. So it'll run for just under 10 minutes or so. So feel free to stay for as long as you'd like, or leave whenever you would like. Just before I do play that, before you do head off, I'm going to put up some of the stuff from this webinar online, or you'll be able to find the different links and things as well. I would encourage you to check out some of the other webinar sessions that we've got. Different physical or movement ones, and some yoga, some gentle exercise. We've got some cooking things happening, baking, and different bits and pieces. And as I've also mentioned, I've got a few other little ones that are sort of guest presenters and things that are to do with connecting with the outside world. So, feel free to join in some of the other ones as well. Ideally, some of them will be live. When I've got a guest presenter, I'm going to try to do some live so that people can sort of type in and ask questions as well during them. And you may get an audience evaluation at the conclusion of the webinar as well, and it'd be great to get your feedback on these, and if you've found them to be beneficial, and how we can sort of play with them and improve them and stuff as well. So anyhow, that's probably enough talking from me. Enough of you looking at my face. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves, and enjoy the little music that we've got playing now. And I'll see you again in the webinar world at some point.